Welcome back to the flower meadow. Today we are working on adding some more rows. April 19th, our go date for the last frost is on the calendar. It is coming fast and furious. All of the little seedlings are growing in the greenhouse, and now we're getting ready to get the rows ready to plant them out. So I can't wait to have everyone out this summer. I've gotten a few messages lately about when are your hours and when are you opening? More than likely, we will open in July, and that is when it's tentatively scheduled for, and run through October. We'll probably be open, for right now we have hours scheduled in the morning and in the evenings, Tuesday through Thursday, and then Saturday morning. Those are the tentative hours on the schedule for now. And as we see how the flower crops grow, this being the first year, to see how much visitors we have and how much flower blooms we have, we'll keep you posted, definitely online on the socials, but mostly on the newsletter. So if you have not joined the Don't Miss the Blooms newsletter, that is where all the information will be coming out from. So definitely join on that and follow along, because, well, this has been an adventure and I can't wait for it to open and to get things going. Today we are laying the rest of the row fabric, so come along. Out here. It's only like 66 degrees, but it feels like 85, maybe, I don't know, hotter. There's not much of a breeze, which just makes it the perfect day to actually lay the row fabric, so it doesn't go sailing like a kite up in the sky, which has happened to us quite a lot frequently. So today's the best day to do that. It's just really hot. This being our first year of flower farming, one of the things I think is going to be really neat to look back on is to see how we did it this first year. And honestly, we're just doing the best we can with the knowledge that we have, knowing that it's probably not quite right and probably not how we're going to do it in 5 years as we continue to learn and grow and experience and solve problems and kind of meet demands and needs and those kind of things. So I think it'll be really neat to look back on in 5 years to see how this is going to be different, because I'm not sure. I keep thinking there has to be information out there how to do this better. We wanted to use the landscape fabric and not the Bio 360. We're not ready for that yet. It's like a plastic mulch, so you can almost pick your fingers down in, and it's biodegradable, which is great, but first year funds getting started doesn't quite allow for that. And this landscape fabric lasts for at least 5 years, so it's reusable, and we really like that aspect. One of the things that's been difficult to figure out is exactly how to mound the rows so that we can lay it flat and work with the tractor that we have and the utensils that we have, and so this is how we're doing it.
Hey.
So for now, we're using the tractor and an attachment on the back that's called
It's an angle blade.
Angle blade. It's from his grandfather's farm.
Yep.
did you say it was like 60 or 80 years old
Oh,
or something? I don't know.
Probably 60 years old. But I mean, back then they built stuff out of real steel and built the last made in America, and it's heavy. And all my whole life growing up, it just sat in the pasture with my grandpa's other farming equipment, and I don't remember him ever using it. But we brought it here, and we've only used it here before this time, like once. But it does a heck of a job grading. I like using it better than a box blade because it doesn't grab as much material and drag it. It kind of spreads it out a little bit, because you could kind of tilt it a little bit if you wanted to. It's like a road grader. It's basically the same concept. So we're using it to pull dirt from one side and put it on into the rows for the flowers.
So we can kind of mound them up, and then the water's not washing them down, because we live where there's a hill, which is why it's called the meadow, because we're down here in the meadow, and so the water just kind of runs, and we don't want to run the seedlings down and out down the street into the creek. So
they get covered up with dirt and
yeah,
stuff.
that
That's
was
the main
big
thing. But the first ones
kinda
rows
like
we did,
in.
yeah, the first rows we did we didn't do as good of a job as this last one, because we didn't have the rows built up. We just tilled up the soil and planted them directly in the ground. But we're learning. So. And
in 5 years, we will have learned more, and it'll be totally different. So it's interesting. Grant's granddad was a peanut farmer. I think that's interesting.
Yeah, yep. They worked on a peanut field and had cattle and grew wheat, and back then it was a little different than it is now. But he did the same kind of thing. He worked during the day, and nights and weekends they would farm, and my dad would do a lot of the work during the day and during the week until
after school.
After school and on the weekends and stuff. And
our kids aren't quite to that point.
No,
but they are learning. This morning we had on a YouTube show that we actually like to watch called Pepper Haro, and they also don't farm on flat land, so it's kind of interesting to us to see their techniques. And they just had an inspirational flower video on, but the kids were like racing to name what all the flowers were, so they're learning. It's interesting to see them catch on. So if you're interested in something, your kids are going to be interested in it eventually.
Yeah,
I don't know if we're interested enough to sweat for it, but they definitely want to know about it, so it's coming. It's fun. It's an adventure.
That.
That made it seem way too easy.
I know. Whoop. I'll go ahead and start the staple on that. Okay. Staples in there?
Yep. Okay, that made it seem way too easy. There's like little wind today. We've done it on moderate days of wind, and it was a nightmare.
Oh my goodness.
We did it on a high wind day, and that was just a fiasco. So that's the way you're supposed to do it on a 0 wind day. That was awesome.
Now we're going to staple it down with these staples Oh, they're probably 5 inches long and probably about an inch wide.
Do you want to give me? So these are sandbags that we ordered, and we filled with, well, the kids filled with rocks this morning. The garden at the top of the hill is all rocks, and the meadow down here is all blackberry briars and the roots. So I'm not actually sure what's worse. The blackberries are wild and filled with thorns and invasive and everywhere, but so are the rocks. At least the rocks have double use, so we can use them in the sandbags to keep the landscape fabric from blowing away. That row is done, except for burning the holes, which is another day's activity.
Yep, looks good.
Landscape fabric, row number 10. Row number 10 done. Only like 10. Only 7 more to go, and then we'll decide. And then we have a duplicate going from here back another 100 feet. So there's 17, I guess, on the front, and then probably about the same on the back.
Yeah, probably.